Good morning, Bears. Welcome to the Big Drum Bear Morning Podcast. Getting started with the crudiness already. It is a wonderful day, and it is so wonderful because we're sporting for the first time our Love Chunk or Your Commie shirt. Yours should be on its way. It should maybe already be there. Something. We're not sure yet which is what. But be sure that it is to be to you at any moment now. To be to you. I don't know how that phrase was supposed to work out. Well, it was fun for me. I enjoyed it. All right. Glad you could be with us today. Oh, my. I figured we only did about 3 questions that we answered at the end of the show. I got preachy for a little while, and I suppose on worthwhile things, talking about some important stuff, and I was happy to do so. It was inspiring to me. I took somebody's advice. I think it was Blue Sky Bear suggested I go back and watch what I had said yesterday, and Blue Sky was right, because there were some worthwhile things there, and it was encouraging for me to watch myself on that one. Is that narcissism? I don't know. I think whenever you get involved in any kind of endeavor, be it performance art, music, whatever the case may be, or starting your own YouTube show, that there has to be some degree of acceptance of seeing yourself on camera, hearing yourself, and being okay with it. But when I'm doing that, I'm not usually thinking so much about just me. I'm thinking about like the effects of me, like how is what I'm doing impacting other people a lot of the time. So good morning, Steve. Good morning. Hell yeah, Bear. A little narcissism is good as long as you keep it reined in. Very nice. Andrew J is here. Glampin's here. David Analog Bear Trania is here. And we've got, of course, Mayor McDeath. We've got Mofo Nature Bear. Hey, Mofo Nature Bear. I just think that name's hilarious. We've got Glampin up in here. Glampin Bear. Just seeing who all's here. Hey, we've got Big Drum Bear in here. Hey, Texas Rose. Before somebody thinks it's hilarious to, time you out, here's a little moderation for you. A moderator right for you. Oh, man. You're the least narcissist person around. That's pretty funny. That's very funny. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know Texas Rose. She's been in here plenty of times. And she's one of your fans too, Steve. I think she joined us because of you. Moderator left. Who's moderator left? I don't know what that meant. Field of Bears. I didn't get it. But good morning to you, Field of Bears. And speaking of Field of Bears, it's time to remind you to support Bears. Because if you don't, we'll see fewer of these. We got to see more handsome mugs out there. I think they kind of screwed up. I don't know if you can see it, but look at the very top lip of the mug in this picture. Redbubble kind of screwed up when they were trying to, because what they do is they take the picture and then they wrap it around the mug. They don't actually create a mug ahead of time, but they digitally represent this graphic on the mug. And then a little bit of the bow tie was repeated on the very lip of the mug there. It might be, I don't know if they're suggesting that a woman was drinking out of that and leaving lipstick marks, but I don't think that's the case. Or a trans man could have been the case. Sorry, they would probably want to be called a woman, especially if they're Zoe Tur and they'll leave your little Jew shekel hoarding behind in an ambulance. But or they'll threaten to anyway. But is it Zoe Tur? Did I say that right? I don't know if I said the name right or not. That was always one of my favorite bits. It was so silly. And then, of course, the classic Field of Bears mug is also available. So you gotta check that out. Is that from My Lipstick? Yeah, because I have one of those mugs, obviously. Guys are so funny. So it's a good day. I'm a happy man. I love life. I don't always love life, but I should, because life is quite lovable. I'm going to make sure that I don't... Oh, good. Calls and notifications will be silenced until 9:30. Well, that may not be enough time. Huh. We shall see. Oh, I bet, Steve, it's going to be fun. Yeah, did you see? Did you see? I camera 2'd it at the beginning. You may not have been here yet. Camera 2. Camera 2. Check it out. Chunk shirt glory. So good. These shirts are actually really nice, too. The shirts are comfortable. They've got a little bit of a stretch to them, right? Kind of cool. I dig it. And I think you will, too. Yep, he was a fan. He was digging it. I came in and saw that on the counter in this wonderful packaging that it came in. It's custom made just for you from Bonfire. I also have Harold Green, wherever you're at. I got your shirt that I ordered. So go ahead and send me the appropriate amount for that, and we'll get you your shirt. And, of course, on the back, don't forget, Big Drum Bear on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Although I haven't done almost anything on Snapchat. Maybe I should put a little bit more on there today just for the heck of it. I don't know, maybe the young kids will like some pictures of Chunk or something like that, or Chunk watching me play drums or something funny. Could be a good deal. I like to try. I'm going to go through puberty during the show today. Thank you very much, David. I'm psyched. It's really decent. Good quality. I don't know how long they'll last. Time to post some nudes. Why did I not expect you to say that? I should totally have. Let's see here. So Next Level Apparel is the company that actually makes the t-shirts they use. Next Level Apparel. Not heard of them, but apparently they make nice shirts. They're very super soft. Yeah, it's Dom. Poor Dom. He got slammed with another meeting just when he thought he didn't have them. I'm noticing that there's not an abundance of texts on here, or chats on here with my, what do you call that? PayPal in there. Yeah, because he loves to do that. And I'm not upset. Let's see here. A wrench meeting. That's so good. That's hilarious. So, yeah, I went back and actually watched the Big Bear stream from yesterday, since it started about the same time as mine did, and I missed the first chunk of it. I went back and checked that out, and it was pretty cool. He actually did a breakdown of the It's Time to Believe All Women video. He analyzed a little bit of what was going on, and there's some different people's bits. And the opening guy, he made some remarks about that, pointed out some different details to that opening character with the big afro. And I didn't really realize that. I mean, I knew the bit was pretty funny, but I'd wondered, like, was this somebody that he knew, like a professional comedian or something like that? Because it was really good. And then he pointed out just how really good it was. And I'm like, man, that's kind of awesome. So it was cool because not only did he play it back and share it with us all on the stream, which was fun. I made him, my dogs and I made him laugh. That was the best part. When it got to that part, that he was actually cackling a little bit. So that was validating. You know, it's kind of like maybe not quite to the same degree, but it's getting there because I'm starting to have an enjoyment of comedy and trying to learn how to do it better. Not equal to my love of drums. How would I put this? So, like, if Neil Peart, the drummer from Rush, was to see a video of my drumming and he was like, that's really good, you know, or made any kind of remark like, hey, that's awesome, you know, that would be massively validating. I would enjoy the heck out of that. Is Neil Peart God? Some people would suggest that. I would not. I would find that to be blasphemic, but he's pretty cool. In fact, I don't think he'd appreciate it because last I knew he was an atheist. So he's not all a big fan. Although some people might suggest that if you're an atheist, you're suggesting that you're God. So you're your own God anyway. But that's some people, not all people. It was a hobo Jufro. Yeah, that's appropriate. That's true. Neil Peart is quite a fine drummer, yes. So I would definitely be honored if he was to see my drumming and say something about it. Or if I wrote some music and a guy like Neil Morse was to say he enjoyed it. Hey, Big Riggin Bear, thanks so much. I appreciate that. That's a blast. That's super cool there. I haven't been catching your streams. I got to catch another Big Riggin Bear show. I don't know if you haven't been doing them as much lately or what, but I hadn't been getting any notifications this week, so I want to check back and see if you've done any uploads or stuff like that I missed. But excuse me. Pardon me. I haven't had enough coffee yet. I don't know if you can tell today. I did a couple things different I was going to mention. Yeah, I understand that, Big Rig, and I've had my share of streaming issues. I was going to say, I tried somebody's advice from the other day about, was it Glampin? Somebody mentioned that tissue paper, or like I used wax paper because that's what I had. I put that underneath the pantyhose that I have over my lights up here, and it seems to have softened the pattern a little bit more. Like they're not nearly as harsh. I like the way that this is looking today. I also turned off the overhead light up above me because that's a yellower kind of tone to the light. So it was somebody. I can't remember. So yeah, it's a good trick. I like it. It's working. Feel the Bear says presidential alerts. Thoughts? Well, somebody posted one that was cracking me up the other day. It was Hillary Clinton looking at, you know what? I posted it on the Twitter. Oh, that's right. I forgot what I just said. I forgot that it's a slang term for something else. And I usually like to keep those limited here. Here we go. This is what I said. This was the original tweet from at Swerdnanosya, and it said hashtag presidential alert, and I'll show you what happened. It started with, maybe some of you have seen this. I've got my NPR voice on now. Actually, it's more like the Slow Jams voice. Shoot. Sound like I'm trying to play the sexy Twitters for all y'all. And I'm just going to show from the website directly. I don't think that's wrong. I don't think you get in trouble. If you do, oh well. Then I'll get WOJCICKI fascism all on me. Here we go. So this is what was going on. Bingo. We had this one to start out with. She's reading her phone, right? And she gets a presidential alert. And it says, I won. And she's like, no, that was funny. That was killing me. So in response to that, I said, it even knocked those shades off her face. Okay, I changed my mind. This wasn't funny. Make her put them back on. It burns. And that was amusing to me. I enjoyed that. So, fun times. Fun times had by all. Some of you may have seen that. Mofo Nature Bear got banned on Twitter for 7 days. Good night. Yeah. I saw Alyssa Milano like, do I have to get these? Can I opt out? Or no, I some people said that. Pardon me, I have to imbibe something other than coffee a little bit. Some Gatorade water helps. Like really, really, it's like Powerade, which is lower sugar than Gatorade, and then it's cut with water. So there's just a little bit of the electrolyte jazz in there, but way less sugary when you do it that way. Yeah, let me see. I replied to a Jennifer Rubin tweet mischaracterizing Lindsey Graham, and I said she was either retarded or a liar. The hens on the view went nuts. That's hilarious. Oh, man. Yeah, Steve. I'm right there with you. Hey, kick ya. Welcome. Glad to see you here. Sorry, not picking my nose. It's just an itch on my face. Just so we're clear. I've declared it. But was pretty that's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I'm starting to get totally frustrated with social media myself, and I've been, but I feel like it's time maybe to press home a little bit harder, and I'm trying to think about the most productive ways to do this, because is it productive to just go in there and say extreme things to get kicked off, right? Is that the deal? Not to say what Big Bear did was anything but hilarious and productive. He's a comedian. I'm certainly not. I try my hand at comedy once in a while. Yeah, I know. Get on Gab. Let's support those other types of things. What I think will eventually probably happen is not that we have one big. I think we might have to take a step back and have a bunch of different platforms, right? And have them compete at smaller levels. But sooner or later, you're going to have one that stands out on top again. It's just that I don't think Twitter can. I don't think this conglomerate of Google, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook and Instagram, which is Facebook, can handle this crap for too long, right? They're going to have to let it be what it is. And is that without its perils? No. I mean, there's probably some issues to letting people run amok, doing their thing. But we have laws of the country, right? There are certain laws within the country. Let's see. There's a guy I used to work at my bank, and he decided to go back to school, go to law school specifically. And he wanted to get a degree in, well, he wanted to do work. I shouldn't say degree. He wanted to get, I'm trying to think of how to phrase that. He decided to focus his studies in intellectual property rights laws and things of that nature, digital music and other stuff like that, or digital communications, some of the laws that are coming forward with all that type of thing. This was a few years ago that he left to go do that. So he's probably out there. He's probably, if he finished it all up, because I haven't heard from him in a long time, but if he finished all that up and moved forward and got into the law field, because he was pretty passionate about it, he thought that's where the future's at for a lot of this stuff in the law field. There could be pitfalls based upon how some of the legal rights and responsibilities are being doled out in terms of what you're legally allowed to do within the internet sphere. And that's where a lot of our attention needs to be, so that we don't end up with it being legal for them, the FAG, FAGYS, Facebook, Apple, Google, YouTube. I was trying to think. Twitter and Snapchat. Is that what the S was for? I couldn't remember. At any rate, yes. Get on the Gab, David. You're right. Get on the Gab. I'm on one called Mighty Networks. Let's see if I can pull up a little window so you can see what I'm talking about. In case nobody's ever heard of it, it's another one that's out there. Here we go. Good old Mighty Networks. Here. Yeah. That's a thing. So you can find that, and that might be worth your while. But it's just another one of those type of apps that allows you to share pictures and video. It's all, as the comedian Reggie Watts said, many of you have written in to us here and shared your thoughts over, I'm paraphrasing here, over email and Twitter and Facebook, and he named a bunch of other things, and a whole bunch of others that are essentially the same form of communication, just branded different names. I mean, think about that. Email, Twitter, YouTube, all of these different mediums are essentially the same form. Oh, Spotify, that's who that was. Okay, Big Rig, and thank you for clarifying. And Mofo Nature Bear. He was just pointing out that they're essentially the same thing, right? We have the ability to do all this. It's just maybe a little more convenient the way some of the others are structured. It's just funny to me. It's really funny. We're sending text, and we can send pictures and video. That's all it is just organize it in such a way as to make it where you can just press one button and it's done. or it can bring up a list of your pictures for you to look at. It's not anything revolutionary or different. It's just really funny. But Field Bear says private encrypted communication that works from peer to peer is totally the same thing as public communication on open forum. Well, are you saying that sarcastically? I'm talking about the essential nature of the communication. And yes, there is encryption when you have email. You're right. But doing it openly in a public forum, everybody can see what you're sending. Now, if you have email that's appropriately encrypted, because there can be people that could break that, there's just less of a chance of it. This is true. Oh, I don't know. There's other conversation going on here. I was just trying to see if somebody was saying something else to me. At any rate, it was of interest to me that we get so hyped up about these different things, myself included. What can be done, I guess, I was talking about this a couple weeks back. What can be done? What can be done when these other big ones go sour, right? When they really are no place for us to do what we're doing. I would say eventually we're going to have these smaller things like Gab, like Mighty Networks, like who knows, there's got to be bunches of others, but that you're going to have segments of the population moving toward different ones, right? Maybe you'll be on a whole bunch of different ones. It's entirely possible. It's less efficient. There might be platforms that allow you to, like they used to have a thing called TweetDeck, and it might still be around, where you can put out one thing and it'll post it to multiple different platforms. And I think a lot of the other ones allow you to do that. Like Instagram, you post something there, you can share it on Facebook, Twitter, who knows what else. So there's options for that in a lot of the platforms now. But yeah, what's happening here? Oh, hey, Best Answers. Welcome. So, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts. I'm trying not to as much today, if you didn't notice. Just thinking here. I think eventually we're just going to have enclaves, if you will, or just different segments. Kind of like you've got 50 states. We might have different states of social networks out there that can interact, that can connect, but they might have their different rules, right? They might have their different ways of operating. And the one that people like the best, the one that I guess has the most freedom involved in it. That's where people are going to go. You can have different folks who want to go to different ones. That's fine. But we've allowed ourselves to be ignorant about too much of that for too long. We haven't been paying attention to what some of these people have been doing, and they've been underhandedly growing themselves to a point where they have way more power than they ought to be having. So it's just something to consider. We're going to have to navigate this as we go forward, and the best you can do is do it in your own life. Figure out what's important to you, how you want to interact on these different platforms. I use them largely to engage with different stuff that I see as BS out there on Twitter and say so, or say something funny, or say something amusing about it. Post links for my show. Boost up Big Bear, boost up other bears in some way. That's kind of what I see as a good purpose for Twitter right now. Instagram, I tend to want to put out musical clips and things like that. And also pictures of the dogs, and also pictures of a shirt with a dog. Let's see. Facebook, I've almost done next to nothing with. I've barely been touching my Facebook. I use the Messenger. That's the biggest thing I use is on Facebook is the Messenger. But let's see. YouTube, that's obvious. I think we all know now what I do with the YouTube. But just thinking through some of these ideas, what do you want to do with a particular social media network? How do you want to use it? Determine what it's going to be for, and then use it for that. It seems similar to me to what Dr. Peterson says about cleaning up your room. When he was on Crowder, I think sometime over the past, during the course of the last year, it might have even been last year. It might have been 2017, but I think it was during 2018 when he came on and they were talking about porn tube. Come on, Field of Airs. Not talking about that one. When he came on Crowder's show for a personality questionnaire thing, like he came on to go over the results of Steven's personality questionnaire. One of the things that they determined was that Stephen and his wife had gone through their house and tried to give each room in their house a purpose. Like they tried to organize it to do certain things. Like he says, my office, when I'm in there, I'm there to work and be creative. I have a hammock in there and I've gone through different types of hammocks and I try to get in there and just lay in that for a good 20 minutes a day or something like that. I take a specific point of my day where I have to rest. I make myself rest. And it allows me to be creative and refreshed. But I'm like, I have to use that 20 minutes to do that in that hammock. And that's what the purpose of that room is for, nothing else. Like the bedroom. Our bedroom is for sleeping, and you can guess what else. So it's like Peterson was applauding him, saying, no, you've taken time to specifically set that room up to serve a specific purpose. You're in there to do something in particular, right? Maybe we should have that same attention to social media. You're here to do a specific thing. When you have less discipline about how you treat a room, it can devolve to chaos. I can tell you that firsthand. I will even give you a look-see to see what I'm talking about. I've shown it to you before, but I'll show it to you again. Where I'm at, and I'm working on it. I've just got so many other things I do. I've shown you the drum set here, but look beyond the drum set. Hang on a second. All right, so this is their basement. This is where we're at. This is the other half of the basement, right? I've got a big desk over here. I've got some sheets that I need to get, or big blankets that just came out of the dryer, need to get folded. Some towels here that I got to take upstairs. I've got mountains of books on this couch that's over there behind the drum set. I've got kids' toys and puzzles and things that I'm trying to get organized. So I'm not done with that, right? I'm not even remotely done with that. But I know that that room is going to serve a specific purpose. This area where I've been at, I've slowly been getting more organized, right? Just little by little. It's taken time. So yes, exactly, kick ya. Little by little, I take time to set things in their order. Like you can see behind me, I really took some time and care to get this set up in a specific way. I have these shelves organized with books that are near and dear to me that are, very important things. And I can come and use this little desk here to do some sort of research or whatever it be. I'm going to have a shelf right over on this side of me having just drum magazines and other related instructional books and things like that. So when I'm teaching, it's like right there. I've got the drum set right over here by me, ready to go so that I can record some things at the laptop, all of that kind of stuff. I have behind me another shelf of other drums and sticks, instructional videos, and other instruments that I want to have on hand for recording purposes. So I'm getting that more structured as I go forward. It's getting more and more organized, little by little. I'm just taking it a bit at a time. So, Steve, I can only guess what that means. You want to helicopter commies. I might not want you to do that. I want to helicopter commies. Oh, I hope there's no visual to go with that shirt. Oh, it's not right. It's not right. Unless you have a totally different understanding of what helicopter means than I do. But at any rate. Oh, my goodness. At any rate. Yeah. Organizing rooms. Hashtag me too. Oh, yes, Pinochet. I haven't forgotten. Pinochet. Field of Bears. It's coming. It's coming. I'm just working hard at a bunch of things. So we'll have to get that in there. It'll be even better than that. I'll find more to put into that tune and make it more funny. You guys are squirrel masters. Hey, Mayor, glad you could stop by. Field O'Shea, that would be hilarious. All right, let's see here. So, yeah, I think the order that we try to establish in our rooms and decide each one should have a specific purpose. This area is for doing the show and for drumming and rehearsing and things like that. It's for specific creative purposes, right? So it might even get more stripped down. I might get rid of all these books at some point and put them in a different spot, right? I brainstormed a little bit yesterday about the rooms thing, right? I'm talking still about the social media, but just briefly, and then we'll get on to drumming. I brainstormed about this room, and I'm sidetracking on the room thing because this is relevant. I want to organize this room in such a way, eventually, that we make a 5-sided room, right? And I thought it could be really neat. I'd like to have a room that's hexagonal, and the cameras and everything back into one of the corners, so you can pretty well see at least 3 of the walls, but you've got 2 others on either sides. And I want it to say, engage your heart, engage your mind, or engage your body. I can't even say my own slogan. Engage your mind, engage your body, engage your heart. Seek to serve the ultimate purpose. But I want 3 words on each wall. Engage your mind, engage your body, engage your heart. And then on the 2 back walls, seek to serve, and then the ultimate purpose. But have cameras like in any corner, right? In any one of the corners, so you can get different cool angles. Yeah, and there would be an angled ceiling. I think that would probably definitely happen. It would be a neat thing to see and deal with. But that would be the ultimate room for me. And I've had deep thoughts, not the Jack Candy kind, but I've had thoughts about having this be subterranean, right? Digging a big old hole in the backyard and being able to insert a prefab structure into it, right? So build the structure above ground, get it lowered into a pit, and that's where the studio is. And then obviously you could have an entrance from outside, but it'd be so cool to have like a subterranean entrance here, right? To get into it. This is down the road. This is like an ultimate to me, like where I'd like to move this. And if this show takes off, if we can move things forward and get more structure to what we're doing, make it more lucrative, make it more productive, and serve a better purpose for people's lives, then that'll be possible, right? A new studio like that would be possible. So that's a goal to me, to have a 5-sided room to do all this in. And one side of that room would have my study area, right? One side of this 5-sided room would have a place for me to have all my books and materials and things like that, where I do biblical study or other types of study in there. And it might even happen in this room first. I might even set this up where I've got a special little alcove where I have all my books for that type of thing set up. And this room, it just gets more, hey, Peoria dogs, a big drumjin. Yeah, that's what that is, dearest. My beautiful lady bear is in here. Welcome, beautiful lady bear. Glad she could pop in for a little bit. She's out there walking dogs, doing her dog walking thing. Always glad to see it when my beautiful lady happens to pop into the show. So I'm borrowing the cup I got for you, by the way, because it's got a bear on it. It's good coffee. It's coffee. It actually, I put a little bit of chocolate peanut butter milk in that coffee right now, just a little bit, to add some flavor instead of taking it straight black. You're right, 5 is a pentagon. I said hex. I was wrong. Pardon me. Thanks for correcting, though. I appreciate that. Yeah, I sometimes say things that I mean one and I say the other, so it's entirely possible that I do that. That's what we call. We actually have this room that's over here. I was using it as a drumjin when we first. Yes, Mofo Nature Bear, you're exactly right. Killing me. Killing me, guys. It's so funny. Hey, peace, Texas Rose. Glad you could pop in. So we have this little room over here that I guess is some sort of like a cellar that was built to go underneath the front porch. It's like directly underneath our front porch. And how would I say that? I put soundproofing padding up on the walls in there, but it still sounded like I don't have enough. I don't have nearly enough for it to absorb the sound appropriately. And that little room leaks too, just a little bit. So at some point, maybe I'll turn it into like a combination closet and maybe even make a separate entryway or exit for people to get in and out of the basement. You know, might be a useful idea. But I was just thinking, you know, we were calling it the drum gin for a while when I had my drum kit set up in there when we first moved in this place a couple years ago. So pretty cool, pretty darn awesome. So at any rate, think through how you want to organize your usage of social media. What purpose do you want each social media platform to serve, right? Facebook, for me, serves the purpose of having a list of family and friends connected on it. Excuse me. And then I largely use the Messenger. I can put other ads and things like that out on there, but for the most part, I don't use it for a whole lot. Pardon me. I'm trying to clear that throat. I know, kick cocoa would be awesome. Then is it wintry near you or where you're at? Is it snowy? Because it was amazingly warm last night, I have to say, down here. You only use it to help us. That's very kind, Kick you. That's what Twitter is for. I look for ways to support other bears. Cold, not snowy. Okay, it's appropriate for October. It should be. Stupid cold, yeah. I know, darn Northeast. Got to move to like either the Midwest or, heck, go to Texas. Got to say, I do like the fall, though. But I'm getting sidetracked. David says he hasn't been on Facebook with his new phone or laptop. It is evil. You're absolutely right. Zuckerberg is a man who's willing to do some pretty horrific things in the name of human progress. It's kind of disturbing. A lot of those upper elites are kind of disturbing to me and the things that they're willing to do. But that aside, if we're going to still make use of some of these different things, Twitter I use to, yeah, I agree, Steve, it's pointless. Twitter is good for quick, short responses to people that attack Owen and other bears, you know, or that say ridiculous things, and maybe we need to point it out. Like, excuse me, I think Ben Shapiro and Courtney Kirchhoff pointed out something the other day, a comment from some doctor who was saying that men who find the female chest formation to be attractive in a sexual manner are just gross, or just base human beings. There's something wrong with them. I'm paraphrasing, but he was saying that there's something psychologically wrong with us if we find that attractive. And even Courtney was a little confused about that. She's like, I'm not sure why dudes like that. And I clearly remember something from biology when I was a kid, like when they taught us actual science, that there is a direct connection between the certain pleasure centers of the brain and that area on the female body. It can even happen in a man's body. So I was looking around and I found an article. It took me all of about 2 minutes, and I found a decent, well-researched article that had a study, had the direct references to a particular study that showed, I guess, MRIs or scans of the brain being done on a person while they're receiving stimulation in the particular areas that are normally associated with sexual pleasure, and then those areas as well on the female body. So the same areas in the brain lit up and were stimulated. So there's rationale to say that, no, that area is an area that is connected with sexual activity and has been for a long time. They're not simply. They were saying that breasts are essentially a baby vending machine, is what they said about it, which I thought was crass and ridiculous. Kind of funny. I did find that thought funny. A baby vending machine, pretty silly. But I knew that it was ridiculous to say that men are horrific or there's something psychologically wrong with them if they are attracted to that, or there's something that is desirable about that from a sexual standpoint, right? And it was appropriate to interrupt the mindless noise by saying, well, there's no, that's not the case. And I saw other people who didn't seem to be aware, didn't know. I thought I'd back that up and say, I disagree. Ben pointed it out. He's like, he just thought it was hilarious that someone was even saying that, because I think there are enough people who are well aware that that's not the case. I think the average individual is aware that no, that's not wrong. It's not. What about the badonkadonk? Good question, Andrew J. I haven't done my research on that one yet. If you're talking about the exterior form, I might go along with you on that. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. That's as far as I'm going to discuss that. Let's see here. Larger breasts mean higher production for milk production. Higher capacity for milk production and storage, which means babies have a better chance for surviving, which means she is a good candidate for mating. Hey, there's a psychologically valid argument. I bet there's some science behind that. I wouldn't be surprised. That makes a heck of a lot of sense. Where did you pull that from, Field of Bears? Or is that just logical reasoning on your part? Because it makes a heck of a lot of sense, right? Even if we don't think through all of those details, I wouldn't doubt that probably played a factor in the minds of some, even if it was subconscious. Yeah, if you've got a reference on that, feel free to share. If you don't, just memory. Okay. Well, I trust your memory. You've got, and I mean this with all due respect, Rain Man-ish memory. So hats off to you, sir. That's meant in good fun. I only learned recently that you deal with the spectrum slightly. I wasn't aware of that until like a couple days ago. So love you, man. I'm just teasing. Let's see here. Yeah, exactly, Mofo Nature, but you're right. So yeah, we're getting plenty of confirmation on that. Of course, we might have some confirmation bias going on because it's all bears. We like to confirm one another. If one of us was running for SCOTUS, we'd confirm us. Darn it. All right, so it's time for that part of the show that it was titled for, Your Drumming Questions. And I'll tell you what, I won't limit this to drumming. I really want questions from people here. You know what? All of a sudden my pen is missing. I love this. I love it when I'm ready to do something cool and I kick the table and my pen is missing. You know what we'll just have to do? We'll have to put it in a notes file. That's just what we're going to do. Man, I love how professional I make this show when I kick the table. All the illusion of it being like look at this guy. He's like pretty cool. He's got lights and he's got a microphone and headphones. No, don't buy it. It's not pro. All right. There you go. Kick ya. LW. Oh, because I was taking up all the room I had to send it home. What? I have confirmation from the nurses. They wouldn't let me store any more milk at the hospital because I was taking up all the room I had to send it at home. I'm not sure I get it, but that's interesting. Are you being hilarious or are you serious? You guys throw some curveballs at me in this chat sometimes, and it is funny. It's more funny when I don't get what's going on. Like, I find that amusing to me. And then you all just look at me like, oh. Gotcha. They wouldn't let me store any more milk at the hospital because I was taking up all the room I had. Okay. Gotcha. I see where you're headed with it. You guys are so funny. So funny. Wow. The things that you talk about in this chat. It's the center of a mama's universe sometimes. Yes, that's true. All right. Musical questions, drumming questions, things you've always wanted to ask about but were too scared or were too nervous or just, I don't know, felt self-conscious about. That's the word I was about to say subconscious, but that's not what I mean. Something that you wanted to know about relating to music, something you've seen a musician do, something that you've heard about in music and you didn't know what it was all about. I'm going to take these questions down. I did start it. I brought it up. I twittered about it. Kick you. I don't know. I think women might have a little more carte blanche on bragging about their chest rather than men bragging about their nethers. That's just my observation in my experiences in life. Usually when a guy does that, it's not seen as I don't know. It's seen as kind of desperate, or unless he's doing it in a joke, I did indeed, Big Riggin. I did indeed. Oh, man. No, you're fine. It was cracking me up. It was funny. I enjoyed it. Yes, indeed. All right, so questions, musical questions. If somebody already chatted one, and I missed it, feel free to send musical questions now, and maybe I'll demonstrate to you an answer. Maybe I will just be able to speak an answer to you. But I love talking about this subject. Music is what I am here to do. We're still on the breasts thing. We're still... You guys are killing me. Oh, it's so funny. So, I don't know where music and the female chest formation intersect, but if you want to mix the two somehow, that could be okay, I guess. I don't know what questions I could really answer about that. I'd probably rather if you kept your questions to music. So is there a musical reason to bite the head off a bat? Yes. Musical specifically, not so much, but musical performance-wise, yes. So Feel the Bears is referencing Alice Cooper biting the head off of a bat. Was it a bat? Was it Alice Cooper, or was it? It might have been Ozzy Osbourne. I think it might have been Ozzy Osbourne, but I think Alice Cooper also did something on stage that was similar. But excuse me, pardon me. It was Ozzy. Okay, I know Alice did some other thing where he did some shock rock stuff on stage, and then he actually didn't do it. What it was claimed about him that he did, but they were talking about it the next day. People were talking about how you did this thing in the show. He's like, I never did that. But then he's like, well, let him say I did. Go for it. It makes me sound more legendary. For the image that Ozzy wanted to portray with his character in his performance, it served the purpose of that. It made the music more compelling. It made the whole performance more compelling to communicate the message and the emotion behind it. So when musicians engage in theatrics like that, that would be the reasoning. It just draws people into the performance more. There are other musicians who will do things like that. There are musicians who will tell jokes around their music, and when people are laughing, it gets them to drop their defenses a little bit, and they're more receptive to receive what the musician has to share in the message of their music. So it also has the impact of potentially driving up sales. When you do something that's so outlandish, people are like, that's awesome, I need to be a part of that. Then you're likely to be more successful in what you do. I hope that answers the question a little bit. Does it help Ozzy play certain chords better? Not to my knowledge. I would say probably not. I don't know how many chords Ozzy plays. Anyway, probably 3 with a chorus and a verse. Let's see here. Yes, no bad heads for Kick, yeah. Had no idea chickens couldn't fly and threw it off stage only to watch horrified as the audience tore it apart. That I didn't know about. That part I wasn't sure about. Okay, Field Bears. Maybe babies are allowed to, or married men. Other than that, and with their wife's permission, of course. That's about as far as that will go. Let's not step into dangerous territory here. You don't want Kiki to have to Kavanaugh you here. Got to be careful. Did I just turn Kavanaugh into a verb? Except she'd be telling the truth, right? Kick is not a liar. Let's see. I'm looking. Okay, I'm not seeing any more musical questions. I've had one. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool, Kikya. Great question. How do you even begin? How do you even get started playing drums, right? See, this is great stuff. There's no wrong question. There's no question that's not appropriate, right? Well, I'll leave that part alone, Kiki. You want to lie about your age and your weight, you go right ahead. Those seem mildly harmless to me. My wife tells the truth about her age all the time. She is 28, for the 16th time. And that's as far as it goes. You know what I mean? Oh, goodness. Stretch. All right, so. Pardon me. Don't mean to yawn so heavily, but it's an involuntary reaction. Is that what that is? That's what that is. Gotcha, Field of Bears. I didn't see that. Now that's even funnier. That's way funnier. Oh my gosh. You guys are hilarious. Yes, Kikya, thank you. I'm still with you. I'm still on your question. How do you begin at drums? Well, goodness. You have any idea what it's like to try and do this show? It's maddening. Let's see. So how do you start with drums, and why do drummers have different ways of holding the sticks? I'll explain both of those. All right. So let me switch to camera 2. After I turn it toward the drums. Yes, that's what we're doing. And we'll get a light on us. Might as well. Hey, you know what? My mic actually works when I'm back here away from it a little bit. It's not quite so offensively loud. Okay, so let's answer Kikya's question. So what we're going to do is demonstrate why, or not why, but how. I want to show you how you begin with the drums. The first thing you need to be able to do. The very first thing you need to be able to do is understand how to hold drumsticks, right? You have these things in your hand, right? I'm going to bring in my friend, the practice pad. Brings the sound of the snare drum down a little bit. So I'm going to scoot over a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. When you begin with drums, you have to figure out how to hold the sticks, right? Now, the idea in holding a drumstick is you want to start, I think, with this thumbs up method. And you start rotating the stick in your fingers, nice and slow. Rotating it. So really the motion, the way I'm doing it, is between the thumb and the middle finger. That's where the rotation is happening. It's the fulcrum, right? But these other 3 fingers, the pointer, the ring, and the pinky, they come on to hold it steady for the ride of moving up and down, right? I did down and up when I said that. But you want to be able to control this motion. The more control you can get with a stick, right, the more things you can do. So you want to teach a student to get control of a pair of sticks. So you can start with a pair of sticks and a practice pad. I recommend the Real Feel practice pads. You go look up Real Feel, right? And just like that, those two words, Real Feel practice pad. You'll find it about between $30 and $40. You can find ones that are cheaper, the smaller 7-inch one as opposed to the 12-inch ones. But it's a little hexagonal. I believe it's hexagonal. I'm thinking back now. It might be octagonal. Small little device, rubberized surface, and you can hit on the drum. So you want to try and get what they call the matched grip, right? Where you have the hands looking the same, the way that they're holding the stick, maybe about 1.5 inches or so sticking out on the bottom. That's what we call the butt end of the stick. That's the technical name. And it sticks out the end here. You want to be able to hold it and create a 90-degree angle at the drum. And then you're learning to have same motion both sides, right? And to be able to play, starting with one of your first rudiments. Let's come back over here and I'll share with you a rudiment. So, we're here. And I have I have my rudiments poster back here. It's harder to see, so what I'll do is actually just pull out this book that also has that same listing in it. The Percussive Arts Society International Drum Rudiments, as they are known. Now, yeah, I've low frame rates when I do that stuff. Nothing I can do to avoid it now. I don't have a lot of data flow on these computers, on this computer. All right, so this is the beginning of what we call drum rudiments. And we start, I've still got that light over here. There we go, that's better. Now you could, gotta love my studio. It's always a crack up. All right, so we start with, where am I? Roll rudiments. That's what we begin with, right? Roll rudiments. Now, roll rudiments, there are various different types. It's harder to read, the smaller it gets, but we start with this thing called a single stroke roll, right? And the way that it's represented is in what we call 30-second notes. So it takes 32 of these tiny little notes with the 3 bars up above them, right, to fill up a measure of 4/4 time. The typical subdivision of a section of music we call a measure. So it's probably really loud since I'm right above the mic. Let me bring that down a little bit, guys. So the single stroke roll, it's being represented as 30-second notes there, but really it's a non-metric performance there. The way that you play them is not necessarily always going to be in a specific subdivision of time. You're just going to play single strokes, as they call it, right? And we can show you once again right here. I think there's plenty of light over there now. Cut. Yeah, you can see. You don't need that light turned over there. So I'm gonna bring it down just a hair. This camera's so sketchy, but it's what I got. Then that'll work. You can see the snare now. Okay, so right here. Oh, let me do this here. Your matched grip, right? And you try to play these. From slow to fast and back to slow, right? And you try to stay at close to the same volume level. That one's slipping off. That'll happen. So this is a simple pattern that goes from hand to hand, back and forth, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. It's just continually alternating the sticks back and forth, right? So that's all you're doing with that. Another rudiment would be known as the double stroke or open roll, as it's called. the double stroke or open stroke roll. That's when you play 2 strokes on each hand, right? So the idea with those, when you learn your single and your double strokes, once you have those down, most of the rest of the stuff you're going to do on drum set is a combination of single and double strokes. Majority of what you do is a combination of single and double strokes. So when you learn how to execute those properly and control the sticks well, then you can play many different things much more efficiently. That's what I try to get your people started on, right? You don't need to start with a full drum set. You need to start with a pair of sticks and a practice pad of some kind. Now, when you've gotten some familiarity with different rudiments, different types of music and styles, then you can start applying that on a drum kit. All you need is a hi-hat, the 2 cymbals that come together on a stand, what you actuate with a foot pedal, right? A snare drum, a bass drum, and a cymbal, right? Usually what they call a ride cymbal. Those 4 components. Hi-hats, snare, bass drum, and ride cymbal. Get those 4 things. Then tom-toms, right? And I have mine kind of set up a little bit differently. Usually people start with the smallest here and they'll work down to the biggest. I'm going smallest, middle, biggest that way to make my phrasing, the way I play fills and different things like that, to break it up a little bit. But you can get other cymbals in there. I have what's called a splash cymbal over here. I have a crash cymbal. This one's kind of a crash ride cymbal. Nice big deep crash. You can crash on this ride cymbal too. It's just more washy and loud. Doesn't quite crash the same way, but. So single strokes. Double strokes. So I can use that as a groove, right? I can use that as a drum set pattern. Simple stuff. You get those 2 rudiments, you're already off going, right? Listen to music, though. Listen to all kinds of different stuff. That's what helps you get better, right? It's a good thing. Oh, you guys have said all kinds of crazy things. I've missed out on. I'm going to get to that other question. Let's see. Yeah, I've had frame rate issues. Hang on a second. Okay, so sticks, right? That's the thing that I think David wanted to know about. Why do people hold their sticks in different ways? That I can explain from right here. Hey, Tommy Lee, good morning. So, sticks, why do we hold them in different ways? Like I said, we have this matched grip where the sticks are sort of held in the same way, and you create this sort of 90-degree angle with them, right? That's the general idea. There's another type of grip. It's called the traditional grip, right? And I think I've talked about this once or twice before. It's an older style grip. Back in the Civil War days and before, let's see here, we would have old types of drums that were not even metal tension rod tuned, but they were rope tuned, right? Rope tuned drums. And the way that they would play those drums, they'd be on a strap and then they'd be at an angle, kind of like this. So in order to play them properly, your left hand would have to be raised up here and you'd have to have a different grip. If you tried to do this, then you're going to hit the edge of the drum, right? I'll come in frame there. You'd hit the edge of the drum if you're trying to do this too much. And this was more of a German thing anyway, to do it with this kind of a grip, right? This matched thing. So we didn't have our drums straight out in front of us. It wasn't the same deal. We had them slung over a side at an angle. So in order to play properly, we'd have to keep our left hand up at an angle, right? So the way I do that is I have the stick laying across the gap between my thumb and pointer, and then the rest of the stick lays over my ring finger between the first and second knuckle, right? Now, the pointer finger rests across the stick, right? The middle finger sort of sticks out. I'm not flipping anybody off. Some people say it does look like that, but I've also got my thumb up, so it's a neutral, it's a neutral hand signal there. Right. Let's see if I can come in frame with that. That's out of frame. That's in frame. There we go. Move microphone. Let's see. I don't have a strap on it, so. We have ways of making you drum. I'm totally stealing the Crowder dream. Tell me, what does the drumming Gestapo say? Scheiße, scheiße. They had me drumming. So, hope that answers that question. There's different ways that it's used. Nowadays, when people use the traditional grip, they're doing that partly out of tradition, right? Even in the early days of drum set playing, this was the method of holding it, and it was a different motion. This one, you're going up and down. Some people, the German style would be more like wrist up and down as opposed to thumbs up. This is the French style with thumb up, right? And that was for a different purpose too, that I've talked about with timpani drums. But there's even a third style that I've talked about, which is called American, which is about 45-degree angle with the stick, and you're coming up, not so much the wrist, but it's like a twist, right? So if I can show you, it's like a twisting motion, right? The stick comes down and twists down, twists to hit the drum that way. That's the motion, right? Instead of this or this, right up and down, it's a combination of the two. So the traditional grip, it's pretty much done with the left hand, even if you're a right-handed person. There are right-hand side traditional grip people that do this, and they'll do it with both hands. It's pretty wild to see. It has been done. I don't highly recommend it as a typical thing. Gita, dear, I'll be done soon. You'll be all right, puppy. I might bring a puppy in here in a little bit. They like to whine at me after a while. But yeah, this is the standard traditional grip. It's still largely used in jazz music. There are other pop musicians, drummers that like to use this. So, what about Pearl? Or do they talk about that in a little bit? Does the French style allow for easier surrendering? Not quite, but it does allow for more detail work if you're doing like tight, fine stuff, and you need your fingertips to be doing a lot of the deal. That's what it's for. Give me 2 shakes of a kitten's whiskers here. That's a really ridiculous thing to say. I'll sneak in front of my camera. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? You've come to say hi a number of times. What's the matter? If I bring you, he's going to want to come too. Then everybody's going to be upset. Do you need to come sit with your dad? All right. Nope, not in there. Here's the deal. If you're down here, you got to do this. Here, I'll let you go in there. How about that? Sweet puppies. You guys are so good. Well, the dogs really just wanted to be close to their dad. That's all it was. That's all it was. They're in the bedroom now. They're feeling better. They're feeling comforted. Right, Gerby? Right, Gita puppy? Yeah. They're sweet dogs. At any hoot. So, I think a lot of the styles were invented before WW2. In fact, quite a bit. I have no idea why I said that, kick ya. I don't know where it came from. It was a movie or something, I think, a long time ago. 2 shakes of a kitten's whiskers. It was pretty ridiculous. At any hoot, I'm going to say certain phrases repeatedly. I'm trying to vary them up, and as soon as I say it, I'm like, I've said that too many times. I need to pick something else, like the ooh. I could have other thinking phrases. Ooh, da, ooh, bleh, right? Just run through the gamut. Kodiak's going to have part 2 of my ooming coming out anytime soon. I just hope it's not 15 minutes long. Let's see here. All right, so somebody had a guitar question. Somebody had a guitar question, and I almost missed it. Let me go back a little bit here. Hey, you guys rock, by the way. Thanks for your link throw-ins. It's very kind. Do I teach the guitar using the A and E finger placement on the guitar, all up and down the neck? I do, but I use other forms as well, right? See if I can demonstrate. So what Best Answers is talking about, the E finger placement, you have your middle finger on second fret of the 5th string, the second thickest string, also known as the 5th string. Then you have your ring finger on the 3rd thickest string, and you have your pointer on the string 3, which is the 4th thickest. I'm doing that I'm saying that backwards just to be confusing. And that forms what we call an E chord. I played those strings out of order. Right? And that's your E chord. Guitar's a little out of tune, but that's all right. I'm not super worried about it being perfect right now. Just want to express some things here. Yes, Crowder said WOJCICKI. That was funny. Hey, thanks, Last Moomin. Yeah, it's a nice little breed love over here. It does what I need it to. But it is definitely out of tune. That sounds better. I'm trying to figure out how to play it on this key now. There we go. Big drum and guitar bear. That's me. So I do teach that chord shape, the E shape, and you can play it and just bar it further up. Like that was an E chord, but now I'll bar it with my pointer finger and move my fingers over accordingly. Now I've got an F major chord. Now an F sharp major chord, G major, G sharp, A major, I guess that would be B flat, honestly. You could really call this A flat major, A major. That'd be a B flat, B major, and a C major, right? You can get a lot of your chords just borrowing it and keeping it up the neck, or you can take the A chord shape, right? And you can do. You can get a lot of chords that way, just borrowing and sliding up the neck. Certainly true. But I know of other open chords like G and D. And then the C chord. Back to the D. Intonation's a little off. I need to tune it better. And I'm hearing it from this mic to my headphone, so it's a little weird there as well. Very strange. So no, I don't just teach that as an answer there to your question. I try to teach other chord shapes. I try to teach a familiarity with in drop D. Drop D on both the first and last string. Yeah, that would be fun. That probably sounds a lot of fun, Moomin. No, I try to teach an understanding of where all the notes are on your neck. Like to be a story about a famous bass player named Jaco Pastorius. Jaco Pastorius was known as the father of modern electric bass playing. Guy had a lot of problems too. He got some strung outness. But when he was growing up, his dad was a professional musician, and his dad was getting ready to go on tour for a year. And I guess Jocko had said something about wanting to learn how to play bass. So Jocko had said, or he'd said to Jocko, here's the deal. You really want to play this instrument? By the time I come back, I say find this note, G3 or F5, F sharp 5, whatever the case may be. I'll say a note. You figure out where it's at on the neck and go straight to it, right? Instantly know where it is. So he just learned his fretboard. That was the main thing. He knew where all his notes were on the fretboard. Know your fretboard. Know your territory, right? Know what's in front of you. And that's like the first lesson I would say. Really get to understand that. Understand how you build a major scale. Understand how you build chords, right? From major scale patterns, right? You take the first, third, fifth notes of any major scale, you've got a major triad, right? You make adjustments to that as necessary, and you can have minors, you can have diminished, you can have augmenteds. Add the seventh note of any major scale in there and make adjustments to that appropriately. And suddenly you're getting all sorts of different chords out of that very, very, very rapidly, just from knowing your 15 basic major scales that we teach in modern Western music, knowing those 15 and how they're constructed based off of one pattern of whole steps and half steps, right? If you figure that one pattern out and learn your 15 major scale patterns, the starting note for each, and follow the alphabet rules of no doubling letters and no skipping letters to help you determine what's sharp or what's flat, knowing that information gives you access to a library of a couple hundred chords like that. Like that. You can have a library of tons of chords super fast, right? And it's just a matter of practicing them and transitioning between them, right? That's all it really comes down to. Time you put in on learning your chord library, right? Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Cable. So there's suspended chords, which are also fun. I'm just playing a little bit of the intro from a song by Rush called Natural Science. And that was some of the beginning of that song. I wonder if I get copyright notice on that. Not for playing it that badly, right? So I'm playing first and fifth, first and fifth. So it's a sus2. No, it's a 6. No, that can't be right. D, E, A, B. That's the 6, yeah. So it's 6 chords. That's what those are. Without a third. Yeah, so it's a first, fifth, and sixth. So it's, again, not a difficult concept, right? You can have a lot of chord library with minimal work to get it. Right, Chunk? Hey, Chunk, do you want to come say hi? You want to come say hi to the people? I bet they'd like to see you at the end of the day. I'd love to answer more musical questions if and when I can. Hang on, Chunk. We gotta get you in frame here because you're what this is all about. That's all they want to see is a chunk, right? Hang on, who's that big chunk puppy? Here he is. Here's that chunk puppy. Come here, bud. Come up here. Up. Come. Up. Come see yourself. Yes, you're a good dog. Yeah. What do you think about being on a shirt? I don't know, Dad. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I like being on shirts. Can I chew it? Can I chew the shirt? Does it taste like beef? Does it taste like, I don't know, chicken? Oh, Dad, that feels good. Dad, you make my ears stand up. That's embarrassing. Don't do that, Dad. What are you embarrassing me for? Dad. You gonna go lay down with your sisters? You can go chill? Be a good boy? Yeah. Yeah, he's a good dog. Lots of ways you can change the tuning of a guitar and make it do what you want it to, but just using what we consider standard tuning, there's a heck of a lot you can still do with that too. So, yes, Chunk, goalie Sir Chunk Polly Chubbs Esquire. He does. Chunk loves his shirt. He's a big fan. What are you doing? Is that to be chewed on? It is if you don't stop me. He's got a, I suppose you can chew it. Just don't eat any of it. Don't like digest it. That would be bad. Yeah, he picked up some piece of toy or something over there that he probably shouldn't eat. Right now he's not. He's just chewing it. Just very slowly to see if I approve. He won't do it unless he gets my approval. And if he thinks he doesn't have my approval, then he'll wait and stop until I'm not looking. It's very funny. He's very sneaky. He's extremely intelligent too. Love that dog. We're going to have to get some more Chunk stuff going on in here. Yeah. We're going to have him have his own little segments. Right, Chunk? Do you want to have a segment on the show, Chunk? I'm not doing anything. Hang on, Chunk cam time. Chunk, you're going to be on the show again because you're being cute. Darn it. Hang on. Puppy on the floor. Here you go. You can see him. I'm not doing nothing. I'm being good. I'm a good dog. I'm not chewing nothing. Let's see if I look away from him long enough. He'll probably start chewing on that yellow thing he got a hold of. He's so funny. He's real intelligent about it. I think he knows I'm watching him right now. I think he gets that camera is my other eye. Either that or he's just really tired. He is a big honking dog. He's chewing up a commie. That's what that is. Yeah. You know, since I switched back to this camera, I still have him in the other screen, like the preview screen. It'd be so funny if he doesn't realize that and he starts chewing because he recognized that. Or no, if he does realize that and he's like, oh, I can chew now because I'm not on the main camera. I'm not being broadcast. I would have laughed so hard if as soon as I switched back, he started chewing on it. So funny. At any hoot, yeah, good musical questions. I'm glad I could answer some of that for you. But it is that time. I probably do need to move on, and I'm sure many of you do too. So I want to say, once again, thank you for coming in, making every day a great day to be with bears. I'm always happy to be here and share some of my life with you. So until next time, as we say around here, engage your mind, engage your body, engage your heart, and seek to serve the ultimate purpose. Peace to you, bears. Love. Dunk.